Welcome back to another week of the Slim and Slam podcast. I'm Slim, joining me is Slam.
I am Budget Bane, also known as Slam.
Budget Bane. He's been talking like this for the last 30 minutes, so I have no idea what's going on.
It's not a phase, Dad.
I have to apologize, folks. I've got a little bit of crud in my face, so I'm a little nasally today, but we'll try to work through it as best we can. Boy, Slam, it's been another long week.
That it has.
But
boy.
You know what's at the end of a week?
What?
A Friday, which starts the weekend. You know what happens this Friday?
What do happen this Friday, Slim?
Uncharted comes out.
I was gonna say that the nice weather comes out only to shaft us next week with the cold again.
No. We're getting a blizzard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know if anybody told you, but we're getting snow. But that's not the important part. We're not worried about that. It's gonna suck, but it's okay. But Uncharted comes out. Another movie based off a video game.
Yes, like the Resident Evil series.
Yeah.
I explain the movies instead of the games.
I was just going to say, so this episode, we're going to do a callback to the time where Slam pulled up a list of what he thought was the Resident Evil video games. It turned out it was the movies, and everybody we know corrected him after the fact. It's okay, guys. Don't worry. You don't have to roast him in the comments. We already did it at home. But we're going to go over some of those Resident Evil movies and some other movies as well, because this Uncharted movie's coming out. And from what I've heard, we haven't got a chance to see it yet. I probably will this weekend, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Pretty pog. Is it going to be in theaters, or is it one of those that's only streaming?
It's in theaters. You can go see it at the Cinemark. I believe it's also on HBO Max. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Sick. Looks like the boys have something to do this weekend.
Exactly. So, for those of you who are unaware, Uncharted is a PlayStation franchise. It's a adventure storyline game where you play Nathan Drake and go hunting for treasure and all that fun stuff. The movie Nathan Drake is played by Tom Holland, the Spider-Man actor of fortune and fame, and his sidekick Sully is played by none other than Mark Wahlberg. So
really?
Okay. Yeah, it's a good cast, and you've got a nice setup for a comedic duo there. The characters from the video game are pretty witty and comical as it is, so having those two guys play them makes a lot of sense. Some people didn't really like the Wahlberg casting as Sully. If you're a big fan of the game, you might not like that, but I like it. I like Mark Wahlberg. He can do a lot of roles. I think it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't realize Mark Wahlberg was in there. I get to see Marky Mark in another good old movie.
But so the movie actually has some box office numbers already. It might have released in other places before it released here. Here it released February 18th. In other places around the world it might have released sooner. But its opening box office so far is 21 million and a half.
21 million and a half.
Which isn't terrible for an opening day that hasn't had a full opening weekend yet. So we'll see what those numbers look like. But for reference of this whole episode, I'm going off the Wikipedia for films based on video games. The Wikipedia page, you can go Google it to check my facts. But that's what we're looking at today while we go through this. But we're gonna shade away from Uncharted for a second. We'll maybe circle back and talk about it a little bit more. But I want to go through some of the movies on this list, because there are some movies that have done really well in the box office based on their IP, but are terrible. Movies. I've got the Rotten Tomatoes and the Metacritic score pulled up, so I just want to walk back through time a little bit. We'll go in reverse chronological order. So we'll go newest to oldest, and we'll just kind of chat them up, and we'll go from there.
All right. Give me the first one.
I gotta take a water break here. I'm really congested.
Oh, well, you were doing the congestion water break. I am curious, does this mean that Uncharted is now in the Marvel franchise? Solely because Tom Holland is now a part of this movie.
So now Spider-Man's a treasure hunter, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I'll have to check with Kevin Feige, or whatever, Feige?
All right.
The Marvel guy? But I feel like you're onto something.
I might be.
Okay. So the next one, the first one on the list is a crowd favorite of yours, Slam.
All right.
So November 24th, 2021, Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City came out. Okay?
All right.
Now, out of the Resident Evil movies on this list, it is probably, I believe it's the worst in box office. All right, so Uncharted before opening weekend done 21 million. Okay, that's our base mark for right now. Resident Evil over the course of its lifetime in theaters did 38.5 million.
This movie did 38.5 million in theaters overall, huh?
Yep, and I'm gonna give you a range here. I'm gonna tell you the Rotten Tomatoes percentage is under 50. Do you want to take a shot in the dark at what it is?
I'm gonna say 26.
Close. It's 31%. So the movie is freaking terrible. $38 million. I imagine the budget for that movie was probably pretty large. But yeah, not too awesome in the box office, all things considered.
Not really. And when did that movie release?
That was November 24th, 2021. So you got to remember there's a period of time where you can't go to the theaters. So this one's a little tougher to look at.
True.
But, so that's where we're starting off with. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to roll it back to a movie you and I have both seen. We watched this at Ken's house, okay? This is April 23rd, 2021. We watched this on DVD about halfway through 2021, okay? Mortal Kombat, the remake.
Oh, no.
All right. This movie did 83 million in box, okay? And we both watched this. This is a movie we both watch. I'm a huge fan of the Mortal Kombat series. I love it to death. Do you remember watching this film?
I do remember watching this film. Do I remember much in it? Not exactly. I remember an ice dude. I think a fire dude fighting in some chamber.
Yeah. So there was like Scorpion and like Sub-Zero. They were in there. Like that was part of the storyline. But they just invented a guy. It's not a character in the games. They just were like, here's a guy.
Hey,
and what's his thing? He just like wears a suit of armor. He's like, hey, what's up? And I have tonfas. Also, Liu Kang didn't do that sound that I just made. He didn't do the.
Yeah, it's true.
And that was really
I remember
annoying.
you wanting him to do that sound.
He even did like the flying kick, like the thing he does, and he didn't make the sound. So that movie was terrible. It was god awful. There was like zero story to it whatsoever, which should be fine for a Mortal Kombat game. Just show a bunch of guys murdering each other, and most people will have a good time. But it wasn't even that. They like tried to do like a really like storyline type thing with some like twists, and it was just all bad. The whole thing was bad. Now Rotten Tomatoes doesn't agree with me for how bad it was. Neither does Metacritic. I also have Metacritic scores, but I don't trust those as much because we don't care about what critics say. We want to know what the people say.
Right.
So Rotten Tomatoes gives that a 54.
54?
Which is marking it pretty high considering I basically criticized that movie the entire time.
This is true. I mean, I don't even remember hardly anything out of it except Ice Dude and Fire Dude fighting and you wanting the man to make the sound, and he did the thing without making the sound.
Yeah, and there was the one part, I'm trying to remember the guy, I think Kung Lao is the hat guy. But like he there was one scene where he did the spinny hat thing and he cut the bird in half. And I was like, wow, that was cool. And then they never used it again. He never did the hat thing again. That was it. We got one scene, spinny hat, cut the guy in half, and we're done. That was the whole budget, okay? But okay, so that was Mortal Kombat. All right, so that's 54. We thought it was bad. 54 is what it got on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, so moving on. We're moving one step back on the list here, and this is also a movie that we have seen. Okay. This is the Monster Hunter film.
I have not seen that one, I don't believe.
I don't know if you were there for that experience, but at least most of our group has seen it. I think we might have watched it at Tim's. Okay, so I'll give you the breakdown. I've never played Monster Hunter as a video game, so I went into this totally blind. So idea of Monster Hunter is exactly what it sounds like. You're a couple of guys, you hunt big monsters, okay?
All right.
So the film, I'm gonna break down the plot line for this film for you, okay? Because it's bonkers, okay? So a bunch of soldiers, they're in the desert and they're like going to check out a distress call or whatever from another group of soldiers that went missing. Okay, so they're driving down this road in the desert. There's like 5 Humvees, and suddenly like this big like lightning storm just starts coming over them, and they're like, "Whoa, okay, it's getting kind of stormy in here." And then suddenly, portal to another dimension. They're sucked in it. Spit out. They get launched into this big giant desert of shit, okay? And like all the Humvees explode and everybody dies except like 5 guys, okay? So they're like, whoa, what happened? And they find the Humvees of the team they were going to go find, and they're like torched glass. It's like all the sand is glass in this desert. Like, all the Humvees are melted. There's not a single soul alive.
Oh shit.
And they're like, whoa, what happened? Obviously, as a like member of the audience, you're like, that's a dragon. That's what happened there. Big dragon. So anyway, they are trying to figure out what goes on, and suddenly the ground starts shaking, and like this big worm, like this big ass worm thing, like he's like, wee, here I am. It's not really a worm. It's like a 4-legged thing. I think it's called Diablo.
Okay.
But basically, all of the team dies except for the captain of the team, and she like meets a native of this like different dimension place, and he teaches her how to survive, and they kind of have like a little romance thing that happens. And then eventually, like, what's the Hellboy guy? Ron Perlman? Like, he shows up and he's like, hey, what's up? I have a big, like, ship that drives on the sand. And then they go fight a dragon. And then they fight the dragon and they go back through the portal to the other place. And there's all these, like, planes there. And they're like, hey, what's up? We're here to rescue you. And the dragon's like, hello, I'm through the portal. And then now the planes are getting attacked by the dragon. And it's very, what's the name of that movie with like Ewan McGregor? Reign of Fire. It's very Reign of Fire, where like the dragon's just like and he's just blurting fire on everything, and then they blow up the dragon. So that's the plot of Monster Hunter.
All right, I guess I got the SparkNotes version. I don't think I need to watch Monster Hunter anymore.
And like, so my thing with Monster Hunter, like 90% of that movie was sick. There was so many like sick things, and then the Ron Perlman part happens, and you're like, what? So yeah, it was okay. Like, it was not a terrible movie, but so I thought it was okay. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. Okay.
Okay.
So
what does the rest of the world think?
Monster Hunter did a box office of 42 million. So pretty low. But I also don't think it was shown in every theater. And this is also 2020, remember? So again.
Oh yeah. Same thing with
no theater. Yep. But that had a 45.
45, huh?
Yeah.
You're telling me that the Mortal Kombat did better than Monster Hunter.
Apparently. And from what I told you, the movie sounds like it was fun, right?
Yeah.
So I want to preface, we went into watching that movie with Zach, the guy, our resident Monster Hunter player, saying the movie was bad.
Okay.
So I did have a knowing that the movie was bad before I went into it, and thoroughly enjoyed it because I knew it was bad ahead of time.
But did you enjoy it?
I mean, I had fun. I felt like I didn't waste an hour and a half of my life. It's a short film. I feel like if they'd added another 30 minutes, then maybe.
Okay.
Or if they had truncated it a little bit more. Because there were a lot of parts where it was like just the girl and the guy from the different dimension just like chilling in a cave for like 10 minutes. But yeah, so that's Monster Hunter. Okay.
I feel like that's sort of the way that movies based off of games go 90% of the time, just because, I mean, if you've played the game, you expect a lot more from it because you've played multiple hours in said game. But at the end of the day, they gotta condense it down. I don't know. It's a cool concept, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of, they don't seem to do well. And granted, 2020, 2021 COVID, like, that definitely hurt them. Because theaters were closed down and everybody's screwed.
Right, exactly. So, okay, so these next couple, we're about to get into some big money, big name movies, okay?
Are these also recent?
We're still in the recent-ish zone. We start to get a couple years back here. I'm probably not going to go deeper than like 2016.
Okay.
So we're going to stay in that time zone.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one here, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, no.
So, I was working at a movie theater when this came out. I remember building the cardboard cutout that they sent of, like, the Sonic guy for this film and putting it out in the lobby.
Yeah.
Alright, so I've seen, like, 80% of this movie because I was ushering. So I would pop in for, like, 20 minutes and then go to the next theater. So I've seen, overall, like, 80% of this movie. But this had Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman. And I don't remember anybody else in that movie. But Jim Carrey was the good part and everything else was bad.
Okay.
There was like this little, like, they treated Sonic as like a 12-year-old and he got adopted by a family and like whatever, right? It did well enough. They got a second one greenlit, and it has Tails and Knuckles in it. Whatever, okay.
All right.
That movie did $320,954,000 at the box.
Holy, that's quite a jump.
So, decent chunk of change. So, for reference, I'm going to pull up a list of all-time worldwide box office. Okay, so and keep in mind this is over the course of the movie's run in theaters. Okay.
Yep.
So Avengers End Game, that's number 2 worldwide all-time, debatably over Avatar, depending on what you count or not. Okay.
Okay.
Avengers End Game did $2,797,000,000. Okay. One of the biggest movies of all time. So we're not quite there. However, if we get down to like the 100th top movie of all time, Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. So like literally the first Star Wars. Okay. And granted, remember this is 1970s. This movie came out. Did 775 million. Okay. Deadpool, probably the most recent one. That is close to the number on this list. Did 784 million over the course of its box office length. So Sonic did not do half of that, but compared to every other game on this or every other movie on this list, we're starting to get a little closer.
No kidding. That was a leap from the first 3.
So Sonic did 320 million. Rotten Tomatoes score, any guess?
I want to say it's still around 50, like maybe 53.
This might actually be our highest rated. Oh nope, it's our second highest rated on the list we're going to talk about. This is a 63.
Okay.
People really liked it compared to Resident Evil, so not
That's
bad.
good that they liked it, considering the fan base bullied them into
Oh my god! I
reanimating
remember that conversation at work at the theater. So like the trailers came out with the eyes being the weird way they were, like separated.
Yep.
The trailers shipped to the theaters like that.
Did they really?
And then they pulled them.
Oh my god!
And they said, okay, we got to do these ones now. So there was a period of time where we had access to the stupid looking Sonic. I'm going to be honest, I don't think it was that much better after they redesigned it.
It was an improvement, this is true, but I wonder how much they spent redoing that, though.
I'm sure it was more than they made in the box office.
I wonder, yeah.
I don't think any of these movies ever make money. The next one is probably one of the closest to making money. And then there's one more on the list that slightly tops this in box. Okay, so the next one, Ryan Reynolds was in it. Got a guess?
I want to say it was Free Guy.
Nope, so Free Guy doesn't count because it's not based on a single video game.
Oh, true, yeah, it's not an actual video game based. I mean, we could make the assumption GTA 5, but, it's fine.
Okay, so it's Detective Pikachu.
Oh, crap. I forgot Detective Pikachu. I haven't seen that yet, actually.
I actually haven't either, so maybe we don't get to talk about it much. But so Detective Pikachu is the second highest box office number on this list. It was 433 million. Obviously, Pokemon sells. If you slap Pokemon on anything, people run to it. So I'm not a Pokemon guy, so I get it. But it's also this is the highest film on the list in terms of rating. It got a 68.
68, huh?
Yep.
And I thought people liked that movie a lot.
Well, they did, but I mean, compared to everything else on this list, right? You look at like.
Oh, right. I mean, 68's still good. I just figured Rotten Tomatoes would have,
Boosted
rated it higher.
Yeah, I mean, there were probably a lot of people who looked at the movie and were like, yeah, this isn't good because they're not Pokemon fans. And then people who are Pokemon fans probably rated this 100. So.
I gotta know, though, how would you feel if they made a Yu-Gi-Oh movie?
They did.
Like a live-action Yu-Gi-Oh movie.
Live-action Yu-Gi-Oh film? Alright, so. I don't know. I'm in. Like, the weird thing is, right, like, that's a tough cast to do, right? Let's do something weird, though. Let's do, like, let me think. Who do we get here? Let's do Kevin Hart as Yu-Gi-Oh!
Alright.
And then let's do Woody Harrelson as Seto Kaiba.
Okay.
And this is why I'm not a director in Hollywood. All right, so moving on to the next one here, okay? And we'll do this one, and we'll take a quick break, and we'll finish up the list at the end of the show.
All right.
So next one here, we've got I think this is actually the only one on the list here, but this is a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film.
Is it Jumanji?
Nope. Not based on a video game.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Board game.
I'll give you a couple hints. We'll see if you can guess it, okay? So, big monkey, break building, video game.
I mean Kong?
No. Rampage.
I honestly have no idea.
It's alright. Caleb's not educated in the classic video games of lore. I understand. Rampage video game. It was like an arcade cabinet game where you like climb buildings as like big monsters. You could be like a lizard or a big monkey or a wolf man, I think. And you like punch buildings and eat people. Rampage is just like basically King Kong. But instead of having King Kong, they got Big Monkey. So I don't remember very much of this film, but that did $428 million in the box and 51 on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's pretty par, but I mean, like, you got people coming to watch it because it's got The Rock in it, so it sells well.
Right. So when did that release?
That was April 13th of 2018.
Huh. I guess I was in college, so I really wasn't. I mean, I don't think we even went to see a single movie in college, now that I think about it.
No, we were pretty busy, dude. I think there was one or two we went to go see.
I don't even remember what they were.
I think we did. Well, Avengers was coming out. I'm pretty sure we went to see Infinity. No.
I did not see that.
What was the second one I think we went to go see in theaters?
Second one.
Age of Ultron. Or Civil War maybe was coming out?
I didn't see that either.
We went to go see something, I'm pretty sure. But, so yeah. Rampage.
All right.
That's where that's at. All right, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll close the show with the last three. Okay?
Yeah, it's the last three.
All right, we'll see you soon. Hey crew, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Slim and Slam podcast. This one isn't quite as humorous as some of the other ones we like to do, but sometimes you gotta mix it up. If this is a space you'd like to occupy with an ad of your own, feel free to email slimandslampodcast@gmail.com. Alright, let's get back to the show. Alright, welcome back everybody. We appreciate having you back after that little break. We got 3 movies left to finish up on this list, Slam. Are you ready?
I am ready.
What do you think so far? We've gone through a lot of films I don't think you've seen.
Yes. I've seen clips of Sonic on YouTube, and I've watched the Mortal Kombat one that I don't remember.
True.
And I think that's about it, actually.
That's the rough part about these films is, like, none of them are really memorable.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I just don't go and see a lot of movies in general, but movies that are taken from video games, I just don't watch. Because wasn't there a Tomb Raider movie?
Yep.
That's out already, isn't it?
That's actually the next one we're talking about.
Oh, sick. I guessed that with my brain.
So, Tomb Raider is the next on the list. It released in March of 2018. And this is actually the remake of Tomb Raider as a film. There was originally a Tomb Raider series of films. There's like 2 of them or 3 of them. Let me see what's on this list. There's one called Tomb Raider and then Cradle of Life. And I've seen both of those, and I don't remember who was cast in that originally, and I don't know who was cast in the new one. But so Lara Croft is the main character of Tomb Raider, and every guy who grew up in the 90s, 2000s era remembers Lara Croft as like the babe of video games.
Polygons.
She didn't wear any clothing really. It was like a crop top and booty shorts, and her boobs were triangles and her ass were triangles, and that was like prime time.
That was the greatest time to be alive.
So for context, those original 2 films were like, what if those triangles were round? And that's basically what that movie was. It was fan service as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I don't remember seeing this new Tomb Raider, so we'll go through it quick. This did $274 million in the box.
Jeez.
And it got an average for the course here, a par for the course, of 52 on Rotten Tomatoes.
52, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can only do so much fan service.
Yes. Well, I don't think they did it with this one. I think so. Do you remember they redid Tomb Raider as a video game for the PC, and it was like a gritty survival type game.
Yep.
I think this film focused around that. Here,
really?
let me click on it. Let me see if I can find the cast list. Yeah, this was Alicia Vikander, Dominic West. All right, so not a ton of huge name in this. I don't even remember seeing this. Let me get the synopsis here. That's way too long. Okay. All right, so basically, Lara Croft. Don't worry about it. Okay. States didn't do too very good. We're not worried about it. We shall move on. All right, moving on. Okay, so the next one I'm excited to talk about, and we're gonna dive into this one a little bit. Okay, I'm sure you remember the trailers for this, and everybody's played this game. Okay.
All right.
December 21st, 2016. Got to guess at what it is?
December 21st, 2016.
It's one of the most beloved video game franchises in history. In modern history, I should say.
I honestly don't have a clue. 2016 was a long time ago.
I'm going to give you a clue. Are you ready?
All right.
Animus. Nothing?
Animus. I got nothing, Chief.
All right, so this is Assassin's Creed. Okay?
Oh.
So this film had a lot of potential. Okay?
Yep.
It had Michael Fassbender in it. And a bunch of other people I don't think anybody cared about. But Michael Fassbender is pretty good in action films, okay? We like him there. So Assassin's Creed, for those of you who've never played it, the whole idea is there's a machine that can link you to your ancestors through your DNA and allow you to live their lives and see what they saw. And there's a whole plot line around two warring factions, the Assassins and the Templars, who use the Animus to retrieve information and find these powerful artifacts back in the distant past. So the concept of Assassin's Creed as a video game is really, really cool because you as the player take on the guy who's jumping through the Animus to play all of these memories through history through his ancestors.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed as a movie is really, really hard to do.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, because you get to choose in the game, you get to choose what you want to do or how you want to go and do something. But now it's just, I don't know. It's locked to one thing. Did they do the thing with the Animus?
Yeah, they did. They tried to do. So do you remember in Assassin's Creed 3, you spend a lot of time as Desmond?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they tried to do something like that, where a lot of the film is not in the Animus, which is not how I would have done it at all. I would have prefaced it with a voiceover of the Animus and how it works, and then the rest of the movie would have been like Assassin's Creed 1 with Ezio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I would have done it. They didn't do it like that. And the film wasn't very great. So the box office for this, it did $240 million, which sounds decent for this list, okay?
Yeah.
It got an 18%.
Oh, dang.
It is the lowest we are going to cover.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, it was terrible. R.I.P. Michael Fassbender. It ruined his career.
Did it really?
I mean, not really. He's probably been in something since then, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
Dang.
So, no more Michael Fassbender.
Unfortunate for the Michael.
He tried his best, but yeah, it's such a hard film to do, and this is the problem with video game movies, right? You've got a crazy concept that is really only for an interactive media audience. Right. And then you take that and put it in static media like film, and it disappears. You lose all of the magic of the video game. I don't know if you've ever seen the Doom film with The Rock in it. There's a scene in the Doom film where they go first person with the camera when he's running through hallways blowing up aliens, and it's the only cool part of the movie. The rest of it is no, Doom's not real. Everything's just aliens. Fuck the whole concept, and we're just gonna. The Rock is a space marine. He's gonna blow up aliens.
This is sounding like StarCraft.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it was just like a generic space movie that had the Doom title slapped onto it.
Huh. Alright.
It's worth a watch for the laughs, but it's not a good movie.
I was gonna say, it's kinda sounds disappointing, to be truthful.
Yeah, it was a little bit. So Assassin's Creed, hard to do. understandable why it maybe got that rating. All right, so last one we're going to talk about is one I was really excited for, and I still actually haven't seen because I didn't get to it opening weekend, and then everybody told me it was bad, so I didn't go watch it because it was something I wanted to watch at home without other people telling me it was bad.
Okay.
So we've played StarCraft a lot. I'm a big StarCraft fan. I love RTSs. One of the first games I actually played is the game this movie is based on. One of the first games I ever played was Warcraft 3.
Okay.
Okay, so I played it on a 98 tower in my trailer house that my parent owned, and I played the heck out of the game. It was like 6 hours a day for like 3 weeks, and I didn't even know I was spending that long. I was like maybe 6 years old. So the movie we're talking about is Warcraft.
I didn't realize that Warcraft had a movie.
It did, and it was super well marketed. Like Blizzard was behind it. There was trailers everywhere, posters everywhere. Everybody was hyped about it. So this is June of 2016.
Dang,
It did $439 million in the box office. This is the largest of our list. It was probably the biggest marketed film, of the genre, of that era. Like, there's been some big, like Sonic's probably up there since then, but at the time, 2016, that year, this is the biggest video game film that was like marketed. Everybody wanted to watch it. Everybody wanted to see it. It got a 28.
About a 28?
And that just makes me so sad because I really want it to be good. Because all you have to do is just do the story of Warcraft 3 and just make it a movie.
And you still haven't seen it yet, or you
No,
have?
I still haven't seen it. I'm so scared to watch it because of that. Because I want it to be good. I love Warcraft, man. Like, the story of Warcraft 3, which is my favorite of the Warcraft games, is so freaking good. So, like, you got the humans and the orcs, and then there's, like, these undead guys that show up. And the humans are fighting the orcs, and then the undead guys come, and they slaughter a whole bunch of villages. So the leader of the humans, like, goes crazy trying to avenge all of his people, and he gets turned into a lich and becomes part of the bad guys. In an effort to save his people, he condemns them all and kills them. And, like, he kills his mentor in a big epic fight and all of that stuff. It's a really good film, like a film-ready story. And they just don't do it.
Dang,
it has nothing to do with that, apparently. And I'm just so terrified to watch it.
I mean, yeah, I would be too. It comes down to, I don't know. Do you plan to watch it at all?
I will eventually. I mean, it can't be that bad. I mean, because you look at some. So I'll just hit some highlights on this list that we didn't talk about here on the Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, the second Mortal Kombat film that was ever made in 1997 got a 2% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
House of the Dead came out in 2003, based on the light gun shooter. That got a 3%.
I guess I'm not even sure what that is.
The Blood Rain film about vampires in latex suits with big boobs got a 4%. The Postal movie that came out in 2007, Postal being that open world game where you pee on people, got a 9%.
That has a movie?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
And then this one I don't get. Okay, so In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale has Jason Statham in it. And it's just like a really ridiculous, like, action movie with knights in it. Okay? Like, it's a fun watch. It's not a great movie, but you could laugh at it, right? I got a 4%.
You're kidding.
A 4%. So, I mean, those are some of the highlights. So, long story short, when making a movie, when pitching a movie, let's maybe just not pick video games.
Yeah, I agree. However, I do have plans for us to watch the Postal movie now, because I didn't know this was a thing, and now I want to watch it.
Alright, so coming up next episode, we review the Postal movie. And we'll also give you a review on Uncharted.
Oh, perfect. Something else that I thought would be cool to have a movie, just because it has a set story, and I think you could do really well with the antagonist, would be Borderlands, or Borderlands 2 in specifically.
So, a Borderlands movie has been announced.
Really? I missed this, apparently.
It's going to be by Lionsgate. It stars Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Sick.
I'm unsure if it... Oh, yeah, Jack Black is Claptrap, remember?
No, I didn't know any of this.
Oh yeah. So this movie's been in development for a while. I was trying to find when the
That's
got
sick.
announced. It was announced in 2015. They've been working on it for a while.
Oh.
2020, Eli Roth got selected to direct the film. Kate Blanchett came on in 2020. So they just started like shooting the film in 2021, basically. Kevin Hart is Roland. Jamie Lee Curtis is Dr. Tannis. And then Jack Black is Claptrap.
This is gonna be sick. I really want to see this when it comes out.
So yeah, it'll probably be pretty good. They started filming in April 1st of 2021, and they wrapped on June 22nd. So we probably next spring.
Yeah, I was just looking up some info on it. It doesn't have a release date, but they're hopeful the 2022 would bring it. But I'm thinking you might be right that it won't be till next year.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. But I think Slam, I think that wraps up our show.
I think it does. I really want to see the Postal movie now. I'm looking at the DVD cover, or specifically Blu-ray. Oh, this is gonna be sick.
Perfect. All right, so Slam's got to go buy a Blu-ray player. I got to go find some popcorn before we watch Postal. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.